up, everybody? It is Phil once again with another arcade video. And if you guys are enjoying these, please hit the like and subscribe button, ring the bell for notifications, because we take a look at awesome arcade games and some comics. And this week, it is Batman Forever. And look at this awesome cabinet. That's right, Batman Forever, the arcade game, out by Acclaim. Of course, the adaptation of the film starring Val Kilmer, Jim Carrey, and Tommy Lee Jones. As you can see, this is a dedicated cabinet, an original cabinet. Very cool. This is actually new to the arcade floor at the Galloping Ghost Arcade. We've had this game for a while, but this is the first time we've had it in an original cabinet. The thing I really like about this cabinet is the very big rounded marquee and the awesome control panel that looks like the bat symbol. Batman has always been a success. Wherever Batman goes, the merchandising and marketing always follows. This film had a bunch of toys, and even, you guys remember those cool glasses you can get from McDonald's? I remember we had a few of them. They were awesome. I mean, who didn't love these things? And of course, with all that badass stuff coming out, they needed a video game. Here it is, by Acclaim, 1996. This is actually Acclaim's first arcade game, built around Sega's Titan Technology hardware, which then led to the Sega Saturn, and I believe this game had a port onto the Sega Saturn. Now, as we'll see, this is a straight beat-em-up game. Some cool things to look out for. There is sprite scaling, so when the character moves closer to the foreground, they get bigger, farther in the background, they get smaller to give that depth of field. And there is a combo system to this game too. You have your standard jump, punch, and kick. Different combinations of those buttons together do different things. And there's also weapons you could pick up, whether it's batarangs, bat grenades, grappling hook, lots of different abilities. If you're looking for a story-heavy arcade game, this is not it. You're thrown down into these levels that are pretty linear. Lots of henchmen are running at you. You gotta beat the crap out of these guys and make your way to the end of the level where there's a boss. And it's kind of repetitive in that motion. Where a lot of the fun comes from is kind of button mashing and these combos. I was playing this, and I think this is actually the first time I played this game, and I was having a lot of fun. The best way to play this is really here at the Galloping Ghost Arcade, because if you do die, you just keep pushing start and you can get through these levels. It's a lot of fun just beating everybody up. You hit multiple enemies at once, which is really, really helpful. Doing jump kicks is really satisfying. And seeing what different gadgets you could pick up to take these guys out is awesome. There is a health bar at top, and I believe there's a combo meter right under the health bar. Once that meter builds up, I believe that's when you unlock your super ability. It was kind of difficult to see when or how to activate the ability. When I was playing it, it seemed to do it on its own, whether I was pushing the jump button or the punch button. You'd think it would be maybe a 3-button press, but it wasn't. It would just kind of activate randomly. It was cool when it would happen and it would destroy everybody, but I wish there was a way to kind of specifically initiate it, and I don't think the game ever told me, unless I wasn't really paying attention on the attract mode.
100,220, 100 and... I lost count!
In this game, you can choose from either Batman or Robin, as we saw at the beginning there. And when you do die, then you choose again once you coin up again. This is a 2-player game, and you could play as either character. You could play as 2 Batmen, you and your buddy, or 2 Robin, or one or the other. But like I said, the fun is the fast pace of this game. You'll get to a point sometimes when there's a 3-on-1 situation, and if you're not careful, you could just get comboed to death and your health bar could just zoom down. But if you're using that jump button, the jump kick, and work fast enough, you can take out a lot of enemies. I think I only played through 3 or 4 levels before my phone was gonna die. I was like 2% battery, 2% battery on my phone. But I didn't get to see Riddler or Two-Face. I assume that they're at the end of the game. The cool thing is, though, that there's always kind of a looming feeling of Two-Face and the Riddler in here, because as well as those weapons you could pick up, there are Riddler or Two-Face little items on the ground that if you pick up, different things happen. With Two-Face, it's kind of that good or evil aspect. You step on it and it's basically a flip of the coin. Either something good will happen or something bad will happen. When you step on it and something bad happens, is you shrink. But if you step on it and something good happens, I think everybody else shrinks. With the Riddler symbol is the same thing. I stepped on it and it shrunk all the enemies. And we saw this a lot in 90s games of the developers playing with the size of the characters. Even games like N64 games, they would have things that would shrink characters, and then I think a lot of that comes from the Mario Brothers, of course, the mushrooms. Kind of a wacky, fun aspect that really reflects the film of how that film was more of a Dick Tracy mixed with Batman, wacky, campy kind of throwback to the 1960s TV show. Even though this is a Batman game, it still has the levity of the film Batman Forever. I would have liked to see some bonus stage stuff, see what else they could have done in here. We played Judge Dredd, we played a RoboCop, and those games had those target practice bonus stages. So something like that to switch up the gameplay would have been good. And it seems like that's where the downfall in this game was when you go to look at reviews. People were having fun with it, but it didn't really do anything that pushed the genre. You gotta understand, this is 1996 here. We've got a bunch of side-scrolling beat-em-ups to play off of in the last 10 years of arcade gaming. The level design is pretty stagnant, it's very linear, although there are things you could pick up, barrels, boxes, and in fact, something cool about the level design is at some points you can actually interact with the background. There's pipes that you can jump on and swing from, twirl around and kick people. There's a lot of the places, there's wrecking balls that are just smashing through the background that you have to avoid. Very hazardous and kind of, I would say, cheap ways to get your money, to get your health down, so you have to put that coin in. That's what old arcade gaming in the 90s was. How can we get more coins from the people in the arcade? But I did appreciate how interactive those were. Even though not a lot of color in the backgrounds, it did seem a little dark in that aspect. Now let's get into the comics, and this week we are talking Batman. So, what better Batman series in the 90s to talk about than Knightfall? This was a huge event spanning across a few different titles involving a bunch of awesome creators. The likes of Kelly Jones, Chuck Dixon, Jim Aparo, Graham Nolan, Ray Focal, Wagner, Jim Aparo, the list goes on, and culminates to one of the most important moments of the Bat's career, when his back was broken. While everyone was going goo-goo over Image Comics, DC was building up one of the baddest bad guys in comics, that being Bane, created by Chuck Dixon and Graham Nolan. If you guys love reading comics and if you love Batman, this is a series that's going to take some time to get through. I think there's 3 full volumes you can get, the trades which I have showing the fall and basically resurrection of the Bat. Now the reason I specifically picked this series was creator and artist Graham Nolan He's an awesome guy, still making kick-ass, badass comics. With his newest one being crowdfunded on Indiegogo, it just passed $100,000, and it's called Giant Size Two-Fisted Manly Tales. Now what a title. And similarly to the Nightfall series, this book has so many amazing creators, from writers like Mike Barron, Chuck Dixon, Tim Rosen, Bo Smith, Kevin Grievous, yes, the guy who created Underworld, and insanely manly art from Michael Golden, Butch Geist, David Williams, Larry Stroman, Dan Lawless, Kelsey Shannon, some of my favorites. The list keeps going on and on. This is an anthology series involving stories that ooze manliness. One of the most successful anthologies I've ever seen crowdfunded. If you guys love comics, you're gonna love this, because the great thing about a book like this is there's gonna be something for everybody. If you like badass supernatural stories, you're gonna get a kick-ass one that's actually based in that Underworld universe. Adventure stories, Viking stories, deep sea stuff. I'm sure we're gonna get some horror in here as well. It is high tea to the max, delivered to you by Team Testosterone. Only from Compass Comics and only on Indiegogo. So go check it out, guys. Go grab that book. Go grab some Nightfall. Come on out to the arcade and play Batman Forever. And if you guys haven't heard yet, my brother and I are shipping out our newest comic, The Lost Pages 2. We've gotten books out the door. People are getting them. The readers are getting them in their hands and they're freaking out. As always, you can grab it on Indiegogo. You go to our website, zaidcomics.com. The links are in the description below. You can grab our newest book, some of our old books, even my brother's art book that he's put out of sexy babes called Dr. Zaid's The Butt Book. Guys, you got to get this stuff. It's so fun to put out. I love seeing it in your hand. So post a picture, tag us if you do get this stuff. And until next time, leave a comment down below. Let us know what you want to see, and we will see you later.
Can I persuade you to take a sandwich with you, sir?
I'll get drive-through.